is commanded by God to go to Mount Moriah, as you all know. And the traveling is taking a few days. And then from a distance, as we see at the end of the section, Vayisa einav et hamakom merachok. He lifts up his eyes and he sees the place from a distance. From a distance. And then he turns to his Shnei Ne'arim, his two young lads. The Torah doesn't bother telling us who their names are. Doesn't tell us. And says to them, Shvu lachem po im hachamor. Okay? Shvu lachem po im hachamor. And then the next message is V'nishtachave v'nashuva alechem. We'll bow down and we'll return to you. V'nashuva. We will return to you. Now, if you look around, the materials Avram Avinu has are the following. He has already supply of coals, eish. He also has a supply of wood. He also has a vessel called a ma'achelet, a sakin, a knife for slaughtering. And there's only one thing not there, and that is the object to be slaughtered. When they do get going, Yitzchak notices that there's no animal here. And he asks his father, what's going on? Ayeh aseh le'olah. Did you ponder over the matter? Why doesn't Avram Avinu want the two Ne'arim to join him? Wouldn't this be good publicity? Maybe someone has an iPhone, they could take some pictures, a video. They can publicize it to the world thereafter. A lot of people probably would not believe that Avram slaughtered his own son. Hard to believe. It sounds so cruel, so difficult. We like to understand in this shiur, which will be short in time, why is it that Avram is telling them to remain? One of the great late Rishonim from Italy on the Chumash, his name is the Sforno. The Sforno says something that requires understanding. The fear of Avram Avinu is that the two lads might protest, prevent, make matters difficult for Avram to perform. Okay? It seems to be such an irrational thing. They might just step in front of him, I don't know, with a permit, without a permit from the police, and prevent the Akeida from happening. And we're asking, you, with the kippah, with all your experience as a servant, as a young lad, would you stand in front of your master, your Lord, and prevent him from doing his mission? It's hard to understand the logic. Usually, Ne'arim, young lads, don't stand in front of their Adon and prevent them from doing their tasks. So why is this Forno saying that that is the reason for Avram thinking that they might come and might cause him problems? Stay here. The beginning of the answer, a midrash says, "V'nishtachaveh v'nashuva alechem." We're going to bow down. It was customary that when you do a korban, you bow down to submit yourself before God. But it says v'nashuva. What is the nun doing in front of the verb? Anachnu. V'nashuva. And the anachnu is containing who plus who? Avram Yitzchak. Chazal say that this was Ruach HaKodesh, or even prophecy, that Avram said, to the extent, 1 second, sir, Brit kruta ala sfatayim. If that was stated, it has to be fulfilled. How? Avram does not know whatsoever. But, v'nishtachaveh v'nashuva alechem, He was prophesied. Rashi brings those three words. Nitnabe sheyashuvu shnehem. Your question is?
My question is, if my father comes over to me and wants to kill me, do I have to let him?
No. But if your father was commanded by God, then you have to do what God says. Right now, at this moment, shalom or bye to the two Ne'arim, Yitzchak does not know that he is the object of the Olah. Only when thereafter they get going to Har HaMoriah, and the father says, Le'olah bini. It could be interpreted, you're going to be the Olah. And then it therefore says thereafter, Vaychu shneim yachtav, and they're going together. Shaveh b'simcha, Chazal say. Now Yitzchak realizes that this is a divine commandment. That's what Avram is doing. But when I get back to the two Ne'arim, I'd like to interview for public television right now both Mr. Yishmael and Mr. Eliezer. Chazal say the two Ne'arim were the two lads, part of the house. Yishmael was asked to go back and be afflicted. He's a lad of the house of Avram and Sarah, correct or not? I'd like to invite first Eliezer. Hello, Mr. Eliezer, how are you? Good. Nice to meet you. Would you mind Avram Avinu slaughtering Yitzchak Avinu? Speak into the microphone.
Yes.
You would mind?
Yes.
I was hoping he was going to say no. Let's take two. Shalom. How are you, Mr. Eliezer? Yeah. Would you mind Avram Avinu slaughtering Yitzchak Avinu? Would you mind?
No.
Can you explain from a financial point why he doesn't mind?
No.
Who can explain? Tom?
The servant, he can say anything against the master.
No.
Such confidence. Because everything goes through him. No, but...
Uven Meshek Beiti, domestic Eliezer. Avram said it himself. When he doesn't have a child, he's afraid that the only one here is domestic Eliezer. And who'll be the Yoresh, the inheritor. So when I interviewed domestic Eliezer, he doesn't mind.
No, but
He wouldn't stop the shechita of Yitzchak. And your question is?
no, but Ishmael is now the next.
1 second. I mean,
He's
I'll interview you in a moment. Hold your horses. Please. Come on. Where is their proper behavior in this shul? I don't understand what's going on. Don't be so nervous. Otherwise, I'll tell you, join the service. In any event, so here, Mr. Eliezer wouldn't mind the shechita of Avram slaughtering. It can be. Now let me interview you, Mr. Yishmael. If you would see Avram taking the ma'achelet and going down, would you prevent him from slaughtering his son Yitzchak? Yes or no?
No.
Why? What are you interested in, Yishmael?
I want to inherit the land.
Inherit the land, the inheritance, all the blessings. So we bring this question back to Avram Avinu. Why does he say, according to this Forno, why does he say that, you know why he's telling the two boys to hang out here and not go with him? Because he's afraid that they might stand in his way and prevent the fulfillment of what's happening. Rav Fir, Ben Zion Fir, Zecher Tzedek L'Vracha, passed away several years ago. There's a moshav right before Ashkelon called Nir Galim. There's a museum for the Holocaust there, Nir Galim. He was the holy rabbi of this yeshuv for decades and decades until he passed away. He's a very big Talmid Chacham. He writes the following answer. He says that just like the second part, V'nishtachaveh v'nashuva aleichem, is a prophecy that God says we're going to return, so too the first part, Shvu lachem, he's talking to the two lads, Po imach. Some of you know the famous midrash. When we travel and hike in southern Yerushalayim, we come to, what is it called, a promenade in English? Is it called a promenade? The Tayelet, is it called a promenade? Yeah. Okay, do you know which promenade, Tayelet, we're talking about? The one in Armona Netziv, next to where the UN forces used to be, in the British Mandate, and then you look straight north and you see the old city, You see the Temple Mount area.
Yeah.
You see the Kippat HaZahav. Some say that, have you ever been there, Shushan?
Beautiful view.
Shushan? You haven't been. It's something beautiful, one of the most beautiful sites in Yerushalayim. And we say, in the name of some scholars, that maybe this is the point where Avram, coming from Hebron with Yitzchak and the two lads, they stopped here. Vayisa et Machon Meir. What did he know? God says, I'm going to tell you where it is later. Chazal say that Avram saw on top of the mountain a cloud. Cloud of fire, some even explain. Wow. He sees, but it's like a spiritual cloud. He asks Yitzchak, do you see anything on top of the mountain? And Yitzchak says, I see a cloud. He goes to Yishmael and Eliezer, the two Ne'arim there. Do you see anything there? We don't see anything. And Eliezer do not see anything unique or special on top of the mountain. Again, what's the name of the mountain? Har Moriah, right? Yes or no? Shvu lachem po im chamor. Just like the chamor does not, what? See this cloud? The cloud, like on Mount Sinai, is a revelation of God. Yes? When God revealed himself to give the Jewish people the Torah, a manifestation of the Shekhinah, the divine presence, was the cloud, smoke, the fire, all these things. Just like the Chamor doesn't see it, so too Yishmael and Eliezer do not see it. This was the sign, like a prophecy, that this is the place. Now, why shouldn't they come? Avram got a prophecy, we're coming back. He doesn't know how it's going to happen. But it could very well be that Avram Avinu might get further instructions in a few hours from now when they travel these 2-3 kilometers. Okay? Bekav Aviri, how long is it from the promenade to the Temple Mount?
3 kilometers?
How far is it?
It's like an hour and a half long. An hour.
So we're talking about 4 or 5 kilometers, or 5 not more than that, right? 4 or 5, a little more than that? Less. When he gets there in an hour or 2 hours, he doesn't know what's going to happen. We know who appeared to Avram Avinu as he's about to lower the sakin. A Malach Hashem. A Malach Hashem. Al tishlach yadcha el anar. The Malach commands. Al tishlach. Who, if they would be present, the two Ne'arim, would they merit the appearance of the Malach Hashem? Maybe not. Maybe not. There are 2 spectators now. They're watching Avram Avinu almost lower his hand, and then he stops. And all of a sudden he sees a lamb caught up in the svach, in the bushes. He takes it, slaughters it, and God appears. BBC interviews an Italian, Rome International Television interviews Eliezer and Shmuel. Not perform the Nisayon. He didn't pass the Nisayon. He didn't do his task. Why? Because they saw that he didn't bring the knife down. They probably would not be worthy of hearing the Malach Hashem, maybe. That's what Avram understands, perhaps. That when he says, Shvu lachem po im hachamor, that too is a nivor. They can't be there. Because otherwise, they might present to the world that Avram did not pass the test. Avram did not fulfill his task. Do you understand what I'm trying to explain? Mm-hmm. That's what Rabbi Zion Führer explains in this matter.
And he explains Forno?
That's how he's and therefore that's explaining the Forno. He's explaining this Forno. The Forno is saying they're gonna prevent the father from doing his task, meaning they're gonna publicize that he did not perform his task. That's what Rabbi Zion Führer says. Okay? That's it.
Because Forno does say they're slaughtering Yitzhak.